Hey there Disney fans, this is Wesatron. Today we're taking a look at Disney's Wreck-It Ralph Hero's Duty Ralph action figure. This is by Thinkway Toys, and I'm not exactly sure on the scale of it, but he himself looks to be around 6 to 7 inches, but the Fix-It Felix character is much smaller in package, so I'm not really sure exactly where we are with it, but he is a pretty sizable toy, pretty huge. Just a quick look at the back here. It shows you, let me move this up actually, be easier. It shows you how to do the little action feature, which isn't much, and shows you how the rifle fits into his hands, things like that. In the bottom there's the cross cells for the other figures, including a regular Ralph and a Fix-It Felix. So it doesn't really say much about him. It's this very tiny bio. It's not really much of anything, but if anybody wanted to check it out, there it is. Pretty basic packaging, blister and card, and it's not collector-friendly blister and card, so you won't be able to just cut tape to get it to work. Yeah, let's get him open, see what he's like. And here's Wreck-It Ralph out of packaging. We can see pretty early from the metal that despite the way it looks from the trailers, I guess he's going to be pretty successful at Hero's Duty. I don't know if that's going to play into the storyline or not, but it's kind of a neat little thing that they just threw on there. It is on a ribbon, so it is able to be removed. Let's just set him down for a second. Just a really quick look, just because it says Hero and in gold. I don't know if it's designed to look like achievements on Xbox or not, but it does kind of have that kind of design to it, so that's pretty neat. And it's just a standard like satin ribbon. As for Ralph himself, he's a pretty neat figure. I've never heard of Thinkway Toys. I don't know what they're into, what their business is typically, but I don't know them in the action figure world. But they made a pretty decent action figure, I'll say. Now the package has him holding this gun in his right hand over to his left, but what's odd is that there's pegs on the left side of the gun so that it fits into the peg holes on his left hand. And he's not great at holding it with two hands. You kind of have to fudge it a little bit, but it's not bad. I think it's mostly because of the design. But the pegs, I was concerned from the packaging that these were going to be thin and just snap off. They are pretty thick. They're pretty big. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of risk of them breaking. But if they do, he can still kind of hold it a little bit, but it's not great. No paint detail at all on the weapon. There's a nice little product stamp. I guess they have to do that for customs or something. I'm not sure. This they definitely have to do for customs. The other side might just be, I don't know, some kind of production number. Who knows? The action feature is spring-loaded. Put that in, press the scope. That's it. Not much to it. I'll show you once again. So, yeah, I could take her to leave it. Excuse me. The rifle is very well designed, though. Very cool. It looks like something you'd see in a video game, which I think is neat. Now, for Ralph, he's got a pretty close likeness from what I can see in the trailer so far, which is just kind of this big, kind of dopey-looking guy. You know, not necessarily like a Bluto type character, but, you know, just kind of goofy. And the armor is all really cool. It's really well designed. It does look like something you'd see in a video game. You know, lots of plates and lights and stuff like that. You know, the lights from Gears of War up here on the shoulders. The kind of paneling, sort of like a Master Chief. I think they put a lot of things together to create this figure. Now there are some screw holes on the back, but the neat thing is that they did use black screws, so they're kind of hard to tell, and a lot of times they sort of fit in with the design. So they don't really bother me so much. As far as just paint detail, he's pretty much gray from head to toe, except for his face. Except for these little light accents here that are supposed to be glowing, the Gears of War details, as I mentioned. That's pretty much it as far as paint, except for, of course, on his face, which we just showed. It seemed like in the trailer there was supposed to be like a face shield here, but that may be something that kind of comes and goes as he talks. I don't really know. But yeah, as far as looks, this guy is very, very nice. I mean, you can see on the back here, He's got little thrusters and maybe some fuel cells up here. I mean, very, very nice detail. They went to a lot of trouble to make this guy look good, because they could have fudged a lot of this stuff, and they really, really went the extra mile and decided not to. And I got to praise Thinkway for that. It was pretty cool. Now, articulation is extremely limited because of the design of the armor, but Thinkway still did some really cool things with it. He's got a swivel head, which I think could have been a ball. As I've said before, I'm a proponent. If you could do a swivel joint, that means you could have done a ball joint. So I would have liked to have seen that. But a swivel will work since he's not a super dynamic character. Or at least he probably, I don't know. It always seems like Disney, I'm not going to like put them in Street Fighter poses or anything like that. He's not going to Hadouken anywhere. Swivel hinge shoulders, so they go all the way around, no problems there, and out. And this shoulder pad is kind of floating, sort of like the Iron Man shoulder pads that Hasbro designed. So if you have it up like that, it's only going to go up so far. But if you just move that out of the way, you can get a lot more clearance out of it. Very cool. Swivel hinge elbows as well, which kind of surprised me. They looked like they were in the package, but I'm always kind of shocked by that. What I really like is the swivel hinge in the wrist. So the wrist does go around, and then it also goes in and out, which I think is very cool. It helps with those rifle poses, and I just always like that hinge, especially on big characters like this, where you can get kind of expressive with their hands. That's kind of fun, you know. So very good design there, Thinkway. I dig that. No torso or waist, which is unfortunate. I think they could have easily put a ball joint right in here, because that's kind of some armor that goes all the way through, and it really would have improved my opinion of the toy. Not that I don't like it, but for the price point, which we'll get to in a minute. He does have swivel hinge hips, which are extremely limited, like I said, because of the armor. They go back only so far, forward only that far, and out only that far. Now, you can kind of push that a little bit further, and you can see it sliding up under that armor. I don't recommend it, though, because I'm afraid that this joint is going to break down here. So what I may do at some point is either shave this down a little bit or shave up under here so that he's got a little more clearance, because I think I could do that on the front here, too. I think you could get a lot more motion out of the legs if just a little bit of this plastic was trimmed, like very little, like a couple of millimeters, because it is just that huge chunk of armor right there at the top of the leg that blocks so much of it. He has swivel hinge knees, so they hinge actually pretty well, almost 90 degrees. Not bad at all. And then the swivel, works right and left. Very cool. And then hinged ankles, which go back that far and forward that far. So not a whole lot of range forward, but pretty good going back. So if you want to like make him running or something like that, it is possible to do. So not bad, not bad. Articulation, as I said, kind of blocked, but still, for the most part, pretty good, considering I would probably guess that this is aimed at kids, just judging from the property and stuff. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of collectors going after this figure, but I like it. I don't normally go after Disney toys, but I kind of get the feeling this movie is going to be right up my alley with the video game background and everything, so that's exciting. So, to the price, I paid $14.99 for this guy at Target. I've been waiting for him to come out because I saw him on the back of the 4-inch figures. I think it was on the back of the 4-inch figures. And I wanted to see what they ended up doing with him and how much, of course, he was going to cost, because it said Deluxe version, so I assumed he'd be bigger. For $15, he honestly, as cool as he is, I really do dig the articulation and the design and everything. Really well done. I feel like he is just too expensive. I would say $10 would be a steal. $12 is right about where he should be sitting. $13 at the most. At $15, I feel like he's a bit of a ripoff. Well, I don't want to say ripoff. That sounds extreme. It sounds like I don't like him. I would say he's... Why can't I move his hand? He just needs a bit more. For $15 and a hollow torso like this, I really expected to have a voice feature of some type. The thrusters could have been posable. They have some movement in there, but like when I move them, they're resistant. So I don't want to say that they are actually posable in any way, but there's some things that they could have done a little differently. I don't mind when they compromise the sculpt a little bit to give clearance to the joints. that doesn't bother me in the least. I'm all for it because it's an action figure. It's a toy. You know, it's supposed to be fun. $15, I'm worried that there's a lot of companies that are getting into the 6-inch or the 4-inch realm and just kind of pricing their figures based on what the other figures around them cost. So when you see a Hasbro figure that's $15 for a 6-inch toy, you think, oh, well, mine should be $16 or $15. And that's just not true. We're kind of getting into this realm that everything is supposed to cost the same, even if it's of subpar quality. And while this is not subpar quality by any means, for the price point, it's definitely not up to standards with most 6-inch toys. That being said, I do think parents will pay $15 for this because they'll pay anything to make their kids shut up for a minute. Sorry if you're a parent watching this. I mean that in the nicest way. And I think collectors will probably still go after this, but not at the expense of something like a DC or a Marvel 6-inch figure. Even though DC's kind of acting strange lately for Mattel. More Marvel figures on the pegs. But yeah, it's certainly not anywhere near what a NECA toy is for $16 or even $15 in some cases. NECA blows this out of the water, of course, but I still don't know how NECA does that. I don't know, trade sexual favors for people, I'm not sure. Again, parents, sorry, oh my gosh, turn this review off. Yeah, good figure, little overpriced. If you can find him on sale for $12 or $13, I think he's a good deal. And yeah, otherwise, very fun action figure, lighter than you would expect. Because he is hollow in there. So, you know, I don't see him being easy to break. Just be careful, you know, when you're trying to move some of these joints, you don't try and push them too close to the body, or in the case of the legs, too far out. Other than that, great action figure. I recommend it. He's pretty cool. Check out Infinite Hollywood for more awesome news, reviews, and discussions. It's the 31 Days of Halloween over there, and there's some really cool stuff going on. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe. I appreciate all the comments and subscriptions that have come up lately. You guys are the greatest. I really appreciate it. I love talking about toys. So that's it. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.